Hey, we're Saints. Father Chris here. Welcome to our Crucifixion live stream. Glad to have you beautiful people with us as we start this week. I want to talk about stupid stuff that we give attention to. One of the things that I think has, we were talking about it as a team, my team here, and, in this kind of outrage culture that we live in, everything has to be given to us or presented to us in ways that make it seem even more grandiose or really important, even though it actually may not be important. And they do so in order to make us click, right? So I'm going to show you this thing. This happened last week. So I didn't see it live. We did a little research. And as Greg's going to throw it on your screen, a Republican senator, I think senator, maybe congresswoman, but senator from, I believe, South Carolina, Nancy Mace is her name, got hammered on a TV debate show because she pronounced Vice President Harris's name wrong. The debate between Kamala and Kamala. And so she, they pushed her buttons, so she pushed back and they all got into this whole thing. And I am a man who believes firmly in being respectful about someone's name. I mean, my name was, growing up, was easy to make fun of my last name. And, a name, you are your name. What I was thinking about as I saw the article, it's like, this really isn't something that needs headlines, right? And you see the word CNN panel rages against Representative Mace and so on. It's all of the point I want to lead to is she should respect the vice president's name. We should all respect people's names. But why does this kind of stuff become so important? And I think the answer is because if we click, they get paid advertisements. And so the real problem isn't about the advertisers or, the psychology behind it. It's you and I, because we click it, because we see things that are not quite as important as more important than they should be. We're not looking at the things that are actually needful. We had in that internal conversation with my team, we came up with the idea or the solution, whatever, how do we say it? Whatever. We decided together that really 95% of things in life are not that important, right? It doesn't mean that we don't get things done. It doesn't mean that we don't, give the proper attention, but we don't have to let that kind of stuff lose our freaking minds, right? So that we're like, ah! And if you pay close attention, do it when you're on your socials or in whatever feeds you scroll through. Look at the clickbaity terms. I mean, we do it. We've got to do it in order to get your attention, right? If I were just to say, read what Jesus says about this, you skip right over it, right? So if we put things like Paris Olympics outrage, it's the biggest video we've ever had, right? It just happens. 95% of stuff doesn't really matter, however. Give it the attention, put it away, and move on, right? So how do we come to see what the one thing really, or the few things that are needful, maybe the one thing? We're going to turn to the Gospel of Luke. Great story. Jesus. Now this is after, this is right after the Good Samaritan, right? So chapter 10, Good Samaritan. And then Jesus journeys on and he ends up in a small village and he sits in the house of two sisters, Mary and Martha, right? And one of them, Martha, is serving, right? She is preparing, you can imagine serving a guest, and this is a great guest. I mean, this is the Lord. It's in her home. So just you imagine, I'm making it up, but you get it like a serving tray with soda or drink or water or coffee, that kind of stuff. You bring a tray of cookies, or maybe she made a meal, whatever it is. And then afterwards she's got to go in the kitchen and clean up the dishes and all this kind of stuff. Now meanwhile, her sister Mary is sitting at Jesus' feet listening to his teaching, right? And Martha gets irritated. She's like, Lord, I'm doing all this work all by myself. She's just hanging out. Tell her to come and help me, right? I do throw those verses up. So Greg got the verses up. You could see my loose paraphrase. And Jesus says to her, it puts her right back in her spot. Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. Only one thing is needful. Only one thing actually really matters. And Mary chose that good portion. What is that? To sit at the feet of the Lord and listen to his teaching, right? So, I mean, that's a pretty clear statement that Jesus makes. Most of the things in life that we think matter actually do not matter. Do what you got to do with them. Do your business, but give proper attention. Give the requisite importance to things as they deserve them. And what deserves the most important is the word, the command of God, which we have to live our lives by. And Mary chose to sit at the feet of the one who issues that word and listen and learn so that she might in turn go and do. Does that make sense? And so we throw this all out there for you because, we put together a plan for our lives. It's there. And in the first module about our minds, we were thinking about how often do we, I mean, I've done it too, right? How often do we give, inappropriate amounts of attention and importance to things that are, you know what I mean? Like at the expense, even worse, at the expense of the one thing that is needful. And so we went through this whole process in our own lives of trying to get ourselves square so we could say, all right, this doesn't matter as much as it may be wanting us to think it matters. This, however, really matters, right? And so, like, even just think about it, I came up with a list myself. I mean, obviously, preaching the gospel to me matters. My bride matters. My kids matter. Giving 100% to my physical health and to my work, that matters. Did there happen to be a fight on CNN and Fox News about a Republican senator who or a congresswoman who said, Kamala versus Kamala? I mean, like, I don't know. Is that important? She shouldn't do it, but like, am I going to lose my mind over it and get so sucked into all that kind of stuff? And that's the distinction I'm drawing. I spend my time fighting to be better at what I do, to stay healthy, to love my bride, to love my girls, love you guys. The rest, like, figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously I'll end here. My list, there are other things on the list that are important, but you get the idea. Very few things are really, truly important. So assign proper value to the things that are you're consuming in your life, because you only have so much time. You only have so much bandwidth. You can only consume, your brain can only handle so much. Make sure you fill it up with the good stuff and not with the garbage and the clickbaity stuff that's out there. Make sure you fill your mind with the one thing that's needful. Love you. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, keep walking on the way of the Warrior Saint.